Hello, good morning everyone. Today class will be class 8 physics and the chapter will be chapter 13 and the topic will be sound. So our aim is to understand sound. Firstly, let's say what is sound. Sound is a form of energy and it is produced when an object vibrates, or we can say that sound is created when something vibrates and sends wave of energy into our ear. So we hear so many sounds in our surrounding in our daily life. For example, if we plug the string of a musical instrument, we hear a sound. And even for another example, let's say pouring a water into a glass or hitting something with hammer. So these are some of the examples of sound. So sound play a very important roles in our life, and most importantly, it helps us to communicate with each other. So what produce sound? Let's see what produce sound. To understand this, first we need to understand vibration. So what is vibration? It is to and fro or back and forth motion of an object. Example, if we stretch a rubber band with one hand and plug it in the middle, it starts to move back and forth. In short, it starts to vibrate. It is this vibration that produces sound. And how sound propagate? The medium of propagation of sound can be solid, liquid, and gases. Before that, let's see the propagation of sound through air. Air is nothing but a mixture of gases. For example, sound of sirens or ambulance, or sound of breaking glass, or sound of firecracker. These are some of the examples where the medium of propagation is in air. And also, let's see another one. Sound also can propagate through liquid. Liquid means in water. So for example, let's say if we place a bell on a water which does not touch the base and shake the bell, so you will probably hear the sound. So this is because the medium of propagation is liquid water, but we can still hear the sound. And the doctor used stethoscope to check the rate of heartbeat. So doctor placed the small disc-shaped object against the chest. The sound of our heartbeat travels to the tube and can be heard to the earpiece. So this medium of propagation is called solid. So now we understand sound can travel through solid, liquid, and gases. But it doesn't mean sound can travel through anything and everything, as sound cannot travel through vacuum. So in short, if we define vacuum, it is a space where all or most of the particle is removed. For example, outer space. And in outer space we cannot hear sound. That is why in space no one can hear you scream. So let's go to the next. The characteristic of sound. So as you see it on the screen, the first thing is amplitude. These are the characteristic property of sound. So amplitude, it is the measure of intensity of sound. A large amplitude means a loud sound, and small amplitude means soft sound. So it is actually the measure of change in pressure in a compression or rarefaction. And number 2 is wavelength. It is the distance from one compression to the next, the distance between one rarefaction to the next. So in short, the distance between successive carries of a wave. So the third point, frequency. It is the number of sound wave, compression and rarefaction passing through the point. It is measured in unit called hertz, Hz, or cycle per second. So in human being, our hearing range is 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. So the fourth point, pitch. Pitch of a sound wave determine how it sounds to our ear. Pitch depends on frequency. So example like bird creeping. So it has a high pitch sound. And another example, let's say lion roar. When lion were roaring, right? So it is a low pitch sound. So a sound with high pitch is shrill, and a sound with low pitch is dull. Point 5. Loudness. It depends on the amplitude of sound. Higher the amplitude, louder the sound, as it has more energy. And the last one, the last characteristic property of sound is quality or timbre. Quality of a sound enables us to distinguish between two sounds of the same pitch and same loudness produced by two different sources. So a sound of single frequency is called a tone, and a sound of mixture of several frequency is a note. So in the next class we will talk about how do we hear and how do we make sound. So for today I'll stop here, and for your assignment I'll give you 6 questions. And the questions are: question number 1, what is sound? Why sound is so important? And question number 2, which type of motion produce sound? And question number 3, how is sound produced? And question number 4, can sound travel through a vacuum? And question number 5, differentiate between Roman number 1, amplitude and frequency. And Roman number 2, differentiate between pitch and timbre, or we can say quality. And question number 6, which property of vibration determine the pitch of the sound? Explain, giving example.